Hi everybody, I'm Sarah from Sarah's Creative Kitchen and I'm welcome to my YouTube channel. I've decided to come over to here to do some longer videos just because with Instagram and Facebook they do sort of cut your videos short. So today I'm going to talk about a subject that is really close to mine and my family's heart, to be honest, and that's IVF. We was in a position ourselves back in 2012 where we just got married and we discovered that pregnancy wasn't going to come easy for us after quite a few years of trying, and we were sort of taken down the line of IVF. Rightly or wrongly, we probably shouldn't have actually been there, and we did sort of decide to take the clinics to court, but to prove clinical negligence is quite hard. Basically, everything was sort of being put back that I was too old, my eggs were rubbish, there was low supply, husband's sperm was low, sperm count, you know, all these factors come in that basically IVF would be the best form of way forward for us to conceive. So we took the professional's word for that. We paid up money, we had lots of tests done, and we started our first round in January 2013. So that failed. I didn't even get to egg transfer, which was quite upsetting. I still to this day remember the morning of getting that call from the clinic saying that none of the eggs had actually fertilised, and it was heartbreaking. And I hope that, you know, I'd hope that I wouldn't have to go through that again, and that the next time it would be more successful. So the next time round they did a different round of drugs with us, and it was a shorter protocol. The first round was a long protocol, and then the next one was a shorter protocol, and I did produce more eggs, and we did get to the actual stage where some of them did fertilise. They did ICSI on that one, where they actually inject the sperm into the egg. And we were keeping fingers crossed, but they only allow the transfer to take place if a certain amount of cells forms over the course of days. If they don't actually sort of multiply how they should be, they will not put them back into you, and that's again what happened with us. So we didn't have that transfer take place. So again, we're sort of heartbroken again. Go back to the clinic, was basically told our best form would be to have an egg donor, which I was very against this. And at this point I had joined some online forums where I've met, and I still to this day I have great friends who we talk to every day, and they started throwing some ideas around about maybe changing clinics. So that's what we did. We changed the clinic, and we went for another round, this time different drugs, short protocol again. So this, now we're in September 2013, so I'm on my third round now since January, which is, it's very intense. It completely drains you. I was up and down with weight because I had to lose my weight to go through IVF. Then I was gaining weight because of the drugs, and then back again. So my body and my whole head and emotions was all over the place. I just really can't describe how I was feeling, and I was trying to hold it all together with a full-time job as well. So we're in September now. Sorry, I'm looking down because I need to make sure I do my timeline right with my notepad. So we're in September now and going for my third round, and we got to egg transfer this time, which was absolutely amazing. I had 2 really good grade eggs, embryos put back into me, and I was told to go away and wait several days and then do the pregnancy test. It came up negative. So again, we're back to square one. We're like, okay, what we're going to do? So that was September, and then all of a sudden it was beginning of December, and I never forget this. I was in work in London and I felt sick. I'd blamed it on having a hangover from going out the night before, and I got home and there was just something in me that was thinking, this isn't right, this isn't just a hangover feeling, there's something more to it. So I just thought, there's no way I can be pregnant, there's just no way. Went to the chemist, but I think I was so programmed that every month I did ovulation tests, peeing on sticks. Then 2 weeks later I'd be doing pregnancy sticks. This had been going on for like 2-3 years of my life, just taking up that amount of time every month. So I went home, peed on the stick, bang, comes up pregnant. My heart just sank. I was like in an emotional wreck, because one part of me was like, oh my god, this is fabulous. Another part was, how's this happened? How's this happened? You know, it's not possible. So then I started questioning, thinking, was it a late embedder from the IVF? And this could have happened, you know. So anyway, we're all chuffed. I go and pick my husband up from the station. Don't mention to him until he gets in the car. Give him a box with the pregnancy stick in. So we're both over the moon. But that was very short-lived, because that night I started bleeding. And so I then find myself at the early pregnancy unit the next day, having blood tests, and the blood levels were not right for when they were trying to trace back when it could possibly be. So I then had to endure nearly 21 or 22 days of being pregnant, having still symptoms because the hormone was in me, but knowing that I had actually miscarried. Now, an emotional roller coaster, because I've gone through all that whole year paying that money to have IVF, to then suddenly be pregnant, and then when I find out I'm actually losing it. So that's a complete head sort of damage as well for you. And so anyway, we get over that, we go on holiday and have a good time, and we sort of sit down and try to make a plan of what we're going to do. So then we decide to do a slightly less form of IVF, which is called IUI, and we did that in about March of 2014. That didn't work, so we then decide, actually, do you know what, there is something I think quite wrong with me. I'd suffered very, very heavy period clots. I would have to be in bed for like a couple of days every time I was due on my periods, every month, and I just wasn't happy. There was something in me ticking away in my head saying, get some more tests done, get some more tests done. Now, at this point, I want to be quite clear. We was not able to get any funding on the NHS for IVF. My husband had been married before, and he had a daughter from the previous marriage. So under that criteria, where we live in Essex, they don't allow you to have any children within a past relationship to qualify for IVF. So that's fine. We've got our head around that. We paid for it ourselves. We were lucky that we paid for 2 rounds, and then our parents both paid for a round each as well. So, you know, moving forward, we then decide that I'm going to go to the doctors and see if we can get some more thorough investigations done. So in September 2014, I finally had a laparoscopy done, which really, to be honest, should have been done at the very start of my journey, but I didn't even know this procedure existed. I was quite naive with it all, and I just went from the professional's words of what should happen. And I'm in hospital. I had the laparoscopy, and I was on my own. I came out of the theatre, and the surgeon came over to me, and he'd sort of spoken to me a little bit before about the journey, and he said to me, if I find anything in there, do you want me to correct it? You know, because this is just really meant to be a routine investigation, but are you happy? You've been through enough now. So I said, yep, do whatever you have to do. I mean, I didn't know if I was going to wake up with tubes. I didn't know what was going to happen. So he sort of said the good and the bad news. So the good news, the bad news, sorry, first of all, let's get that out of the way, was I had quite severe endometriosis, and he's basically said, in his words, were even if IVF had worked, the likelihood of the embryo actually embedding in me would be very slim, because it would probably have broken away anyway because of the blood shedding coming away every month. The next bit of bad news was both my tubes were blocked. So this to me made me think, well, that's okay. What's happened? And he said the good news is I've thermo destroyed your endometriosis, and I've unblocked both your tubes. He said, and everything's flushing through how it should. So he sort of gave me a little handshake and said, hopefully we'll see you back maybe next year pregnant. So I went away feeling quite confident that, you know, this has happened. I was happy, but on the other hand, I was quite angry, really angry as well, because I was sitting there thinking, we've just been through all of this heartache. It nearly destroyed mine and my husband's marriage, because just before the laparoscopy, we were sort of like thinking about doing adoption. It was too much for him, and I was now having to question, would I have to do this on my own? The need for me to have a child, the want for me to have a child, was probably going to outweigh the want of being married. And that's quite a sad thing to say, actually, but that's how I felt. He knew how I felt as well, and that I always wanted to have a child. So moving forward, we're in September. I've had the laparoscopy done, and they sort of say to you, don't do anything for a couple of months. But I was like, sod that, no, come on, let's just go for it. Forgot all about it, and then in November I had that same sick feeling coming home from work that I had back in that December, and I thought, oh my God, could this be it? Could this be it? Yep, I was pregnant. So I've had my happy ending. I had a really, really good pregnancy. I chose not to do any blogging about it just because it was such a precious thing for me. Sorry, I do get a bit warmed up over this. And yeah, Alfie come along, which I was over the moon about. But one thing I've sort of always held quite close to my heart is how lucky we were to be able to afford, to pay for IVF, because there's many people out there that can't afford it themselves. Their family can't support them. They may have been in past relationships where now the criteria is changing every single week with the NHS. Very soon there won't be any money available. You know, what makes me absolutely so angry as well, there's money there for you know, sort of surgeries that are cosmetic surgeries and things like this, but with people wanting to have a child, you know, you can't change your feelings if that's what you want. It's never going to really go away as much as you try and brush it under the carpet. So we went national with our story, and we actually appeared in the Daily Mail back in August. This was like our picture. And there's some story there. You can probably still find it online. It was the 11th of August 2016. This was in the Echo, but the Daily Mail picked up our story as well. And they picked up about my weight loss journey, of why I wanted to do the weight loss, to lose weight, to have the IVF, and then to then sustain the weight loss to be active for my little boy. So we tried to raise awareness, and at the time I did have a lot of people contacting me. They didn't quite know how to, so I had just, you know, emails via my website, my Sarah's Creative Kitchen website, through the contact page, through my Facebook page, people privately messaging me on my own private Facebook page, because they hadn't really put anywhere to contact me, and I had no problem with people contacting me to find out about, you know, what I had done, how it helped us. So Alfie is now 2, and he's a really active little spritey little boy, and I would love to be able to help somebody else have that forever ending, happy ending as well. So some of you may know what I do for a living. I run a chocolate company. It's mainly through online sales, and it's called Sarah's Creative Kitchen. I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook. And what I want to do now is, I've taken the next step now. I've done quite a bit of fundraising for other people to raise money for things like the London Marathon. I raised money for Gemma on Slimming World, and also now recently I'm raising money selling a unicorn bar for Sarah Walsh, who's also running the London Marathon this year, next year actually, sorry, and we're raising money for her. But what I want to do, I've decided alongside of this, I'm going to be raising money for creating a life. A lot of things I've done in the past for fundraising has been about saving lives, or, you know, looking at research to save lives. There's never really been any charities that I'm aware of to actually fund creating a life. So funding somebody to have an IVF round. So that is what I'm going to be doing. Now, I may get people hating me for this. I'm tough, I've got tough shoulders, I can deal with this. But for me, if I can do one couple or one person, because it's not just couples that go through IVF, you have a lot of same-sex couples that want to do it, you have a lot of single women maybe on their own that, you know, have no partner that would like to do it via a sperm donor. So I'm going to be raising some money. I've set myself a target to start with of £5,000. Just because that's the average sort of cost to go through an IVF round. I've set up a Just Giving page. It's a crowdfunding page, and I will put the details in the description. It's www.justgiving.com/crowdfunding/IVF support, and it's under my name as Sarah's Creative Kitchen. So not only am I going to be putting this out to my Instagram account about people maybe going over there, even if they all gave £1, I have 21,000 followers, that would be £21,000. I know it's not going to happen, that amount of money, but we never know. I live in hope that I can help somebody else. I'm also going to be selling some chocolate packs as well, some discs. So every month will be a different flavour. It'll be different toppings, and I'm going to go back to childhood sweets. So for November, I'm going to be starting November the 1st, just because I've got quite a lot going on until the end of October. I will be selling milk and white discs, and they are topped with dolly mixtures. So I will be selling those for £2 a pack, and for every pack I sell, £1 will be given to the Just Giving page, and I'm aiming to sell about 400 packs of those every month. And I'll be doing lots of different things throughout the year as well. I won't stop with my other fundraising that I do, but this is something I want to do separate. And at the end, when I reach the 5,000, my first set target, I will be having some friends help me who are very good at fundraising ideas. They work in industries where they have to do this, and I will then be looking at how we are going to allocate this money and how we find that person or persons to come forward, a couple, to help them. My first initial thought is that I would really like to sort of have somebody that had been in a very similar situation to myself, where, you know, they're fighting the system just because there's a child from a previous relationship, and that is my first thoughts. And yeah, so that is it. So it's not really chocolate as such, but it is, because I'm going to be using my chocolate world to try and promote this. So I really hope that people have watched this till the end, because it's quite long, and understand that it is heartache. It's heartache not being able to have a child naturally. Luckily, you know, I had some procedures done that made it happen for me, and but other people maybe are not in that same position where they haven't got tubes, or the sperm is so low that they're going to have to go for a sperm donor. All these things cost money. So please, maybe if everybody that is going to watch this just gave £1, it's just £1, it's like a Diet Coke at the bar, and you know, maybe we can make people's dreams actually come true. Yep, so thank you very much for watching. This is a completely unedited video because I'm saying it from the heart. I don't want to sit there, you know, being scripted and everything. It's my thoughts, it's how I feel, and it's what I want to do to help people as well. So pop over to the crowdfunding Just Giving page, and we can start seeing the money going up. So thank you everybody, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you. Bye.